Hi, everybody. Dan Illman, Mike Beer, the DRF.com Formulator Race of the Day for Wednesday, March the 1st is race number 3 at Tampa Bay Downs. We're going 1 mile on the turf. It is a maiden special weight for fillies and mares. And let's take a look at the field. I want to remind everybody, head on over to the Race of the Day event page on DRF.com. Download those free Formulator past performances and handicap with us as we go in post-position order. We will begin with a Godolphin runner down towards the rail, Mike. That's the number 1 above the mark. Third start of the form cycle and getting some significant class relief.
Yeah, this seems like an easier spot for this filly. She's run a couple of good races, and every once in a while she'll show up and just won't run her best race. I guess that's could be a warning sign for horses at a shorter price. I don't love that she doesn't have a lot of speed, but I'm hoping that she can just pull some kind of a trip in this race. It's just not a strong field.
There doesn't appear to be a lot of pace in the race, and I do think that Fernando de la Cruz can get a lot more forward with this filly. It just seems like they've taken a measured approach with her in the early portion of her races and have tried to take her back. I liked her race at Saratoga, the first one at the very least, where she made a long, sustained 4-wide move through the turn in a race with no pace, and she finished evenly. I didn't love her most recent race at Gulfstream. She didn't change lead. She was drifting to the rail in the stretch, but boy, you're absolutely right. From a class standpoint, just simply from a speed figure standpoint, she's very logical.
Yeah, as you point out, and she's also run a couple of good races. Again, she's a little bit of an in and outer, which I don't like, but her debut at Gulfstream last year, January, she was really good that day, good in Saratoga. I mean, I didn't love her last race either, but that horse that won that race, she's cut out to be a pretty good one, a $700,000 tap-it for Clement.
The number 2 is Grand Folly, trained by Christophe Gaumont, and like Above the Mark, Grand Folly is by Street Cry. She is also shipping up from Gulfstream Park. She finished 3rd last time out. She sort of split horses on the turn. Didn't like how she hopped back to her left lead late, but at the end of the day, it was her fastest race, but only with a buyer speed figure of 70.
Right, and that's what I don't like about her. I mean, maybe she took a little step forward last time, but not a huge one. I don't really like any of her races, and she's the morning line favorite in here. She's not for me.
2-1 on the line for the 2 Grand Folly, although she does have, I believe, the best last buyer speed figure with that 70. The number 3 is Stormfield. We have not seen Stormfield since September 7th. 2015. It's been a long time between drinks for Stormfield, who finished 4th in her turf and route debut way back when. I have no idea what I'm getting off the layoff, but Buff Bradley has been sending out live horses at Tampa Bay.
Yeah, he has been sending out live horses here. That's a good sign. I'll wait and see with this horse.
Number 4 is Arabian Beauty, one of 2 first-time turf entrants in this field. Arabian Beauty is by 77 Street.
Who's that?
I don't know. Who was 0 for 6 with first-time turf runners. The dam did win on turf. She was 1 for 5 on the turf. She won her turf debut, but not a ton of grass in this pedigree. This is actually the female family of concern. Maybe the additional distance will help, but not much pedigree and not much running in 2 dirt starts.
Right. I wouldn't care about the pedigree that much if this horse had shown even a pulse on the track.
Now, the number 5, A Pretty Scare, is also trying turf for the first time, and she actually has a pretty decent turf pedigree. Sydney's Candy only wins with 8% to first-time turf runners, but the dam was a turf winner, and the dam has foaled 3 turf winners from 4 turf runners, including Save the Prophet, who was stakes priced on the lawn. Now, she has to deal with a year-plus layoff, a route distance, a new surface. She should at least show some speed.
Yeah, maybe she has speed in this race, and it helps. And I do like her pedigree for grass, but I mean, how are you betting a horse like this without any confidence?
Maybe if you think she's going to have an easy lead. And let's take a look at the Timeform US Pace Projector. And it does project for A Pretty Scare to get out to the front with Stormfield, the other year-plus layoff horse, chasing in second. But even if she does get to an early lead, you're dealing with a long layoff, a lot of questions. I mean, she lost for 16 in that race.
Yeah, right. I mean, isn't she the kind of horse where when she makes the front in this race, you go, very good. This horse is
what a wonderful horse to track, you would think, if you're in that tracking position, which is sort of a key in this situation. We'll talk about the 7 creative director who might fall into that trip. The number 6 is La Soul. La Soul came off a year-plus layoff most recently in a race that was washed off the turf, and she finished a well-beaten 3rd, but it was a good starting off point, I guess. I am stunned. Right. I know that Perfect Soul is a good turf and synth stallion. This is a half to Munnings that is yet to race on dirt.
Yeah, it's true. Well, at least to me anyway, with this horse, at least she's one of the maybe bigger prices that's mildly interested in here. I mean, she debuted on turf against Catch a Glimpse in an allowance race. She was never winning that race. Her second career start actually wasn't a poor performance at all, and there was a long layoff after that, and she got rained off last time. I don't know. She's second off the layoff, back to turf, stretching out. I could easily make a case for this horse at a price.
The number 7 is Creative Director. All things considering her pedigree, considering her connections, has been a little bit of a disappointment throughout her career. 4 starts and only 1 third-place finish. That effort came most recently on January the 11th, where she was up close to 2 long shots early. But I think that Pablo Morales kind of moved a little bit soon in between those 2 horses. She did take the lead in the stretch. I was somewhat disappointed there wasn't a lot of fight in the stretch once she was headed. But when you look at that pace projector and you see those 2-year-plus layoffs in front of her, I think she gets the jump on these horses turning into the stretch. And I think she has slightly more upside than the 2 favorites.
It might be all it takes is that she gets that trip and makes the front in this race, and that's it. On the other hand, I feel like, and who knows how they're going to wind up betting, I think she might be the favorite in here.
Oh, okay.
We'll see. Maybe she won't be, but I feel like she could be. And I don't like any of her races. I don't think that she ran well. I remember when she came to Belmont off of that Keeneland debut where she had no chance anyway. You guys try your luck, and I thought she was interesting cutting back to 7. I mean, she was terrible in there. She's run twice off that layoff now. I didn't love her last race. I didn't see any excuse for her not to win that race.
She had, all things considering, I thought maybe she moved a little bit too soon, but it was a decent enough trip. But you could argue that field was better.
You could.
A couple of horses came back to win.
The Mod horse that won it was
okay. The Mod
okay.
horse that won came back to win.
Well, Monet Davis, though, who came, that's the Barbaro brother or sister, I guess, who won on dirt. And then the other horse that won came up to New York and won another dirt race with like a 40 buyer.
But the Mod horse that beat him earned a 76
that horse is okay.
1X, and I think she's okay. She would probably be heavily favored in this field. If she's the favorite, I don't want her bike. She's third choice on the morning line. You get me a little nervous.
I'm bad about predicting how they're going to bet races like that, but I just sort of felt like she could be the favorite.
Princess Ariel on the outside is an outsider. 10 starts, she's yet to hit the board. She got beat for 25 last time out. She's got to improve by a lot.
Yeah, she's hard to like.
Let's take a look at our top selections for our Formulator race of the day for Wednesday, March the 1st. You're going with Above the Mark, second choice on the line at 5-2, but you think she either drifts or that Creative Director, my pick, the third choice on the line, takes the money.
Yeah, I mean, I was hoping so. I have no idea how they'll bet it. I thought Creative Director could be favored here. If this horse is around 3-1, maybe I'll take a little shot there. She's the only one who's run at least a couple of turf races that I actually like.
But your sort of interesting price play would be the 6 La Sol, your second pick. Mike's going 1, 6, and 7. I'm going 7, 2, 1, and 3. If you are playing the Wednesday Tampa Bay Downs from home, a $300 sign-up bonus is waiting for you. DRF.com/trifecta is where you need to go for all of the information. Approximate post time for race number 3 at Tampa Bay Downs, your Formulator race of the day, 1:23 Eastern. Good luck.